Most people go through this world and don't find themselves part of the historical record. And that's just a fact. Oral history is one of the greatest documents that can be created to document somebody's life. Then when you create groupings of that and you realize you're documenting communities, suddenly community stories told from the individual perspective becomes a resource that is like no other. There's nothing like the human voice telling its own story or telling that community story from that firsthand perspective. You have this level of community memory being reflected in this meaningful way that really does change the world. Oral history was something that sat around on shelves for decades without anybody listening to it because they're 2 hours long, potentially, but a project could be hundreds of hours long. I created OHMS originally to enhance access to online oral history. Essentially, in the old days, you'd have a user interface where here's a transcript, and then you'd have a user interface that would be like, and there's the player. But the two didn't work together. And so the idea behind OHMS was to make the text searchable in a way that linked to the audio and the video. I created this indexing system in the OHMS platform. And the indexing system basically allowed you to take a 2-hour oral history interview and break it up into stories. Along comes a project in 2020 that it's a great project. It's interviews with returned Peace Corps volunteers who really have these incredible mountaintop experiences going off to change the world. Of all the oral history projects that I have worked with groups on over the years, this group got super organized and they implemented this thing like no other oral history project. We have now over 1,400 interviews in that project. The CURATE grant really provided this opportunity for me to explore, can we partner with these communities to do the indexing portion of a project? And the answer is absolutely yes. Engaging with that community has been really transformational, and it really was that CURATE grant that allowed us to start thinking about this in a more systematic, organized fashion. Some of our greatest discoveries in our oral history collection have come out of those indexes and have come out of working with community members who have done those indexes, because they're describing things in ways that, say, a trained archivist or a grad student or even an undergraduate student wouldn't necessarily naturally do. And so that's sort of the next phase of I think, our workflow is going to be, how can we do a better job with this technology engaging in community? And I think we can, and I think we will, and I think I'm really excited about what's coming down the line. Throughout all of this technology, the one thing that hasn't changed is our commitment to interviewing. The technology is going to help us do something with those interviews, but we can't do anything with the interviews if the interviews haven't been created in the first place. And I think that's something that I think, even above this technology thing that we're doing, that I'm so proud of, is that we have retained this commitment to telling these stories that are important for history, to documenting stories that would normally not be documented.